Hi, I'm David, and this is my 92 Nissan 240SX. I want to make this video because I want to. That's why. I want to make it for the people that aren't aware of the current state of the car and what's been done to it. So as I start modifying it and bringing it on the channel more often, everyone will know the baseline, and the baseline will be this video of what I've done to it over the last 7 or 8 years. Let's start off in the front. Obviously, there's a lot of shiny bits in here, and the whole front end has been cut off. So we'll start away from the top down and then move to the interior of the car and maybe in the back. The engine is an SR20DET. It's out of S13, and it's a black top. I'm running a Garrett G25 550, the 72 AR. We're currently pushing it up to 25 pounds on E85, and I think it's at 20 pounds on pump. So getting into the engine, we can just start from the top down. There's our Audi R8 coil packs, a 5.0 sealing kit, and it's not an adapter kit for the 5.0 coil packs. It just seals the coils from moisture and dust. We have a radium fuel rail and ID 1300X injectors. The valve cover was modified, dash 10 fittings all around, and then I made this catch can with fittings and a breather, and we have some baffles in there with actual metal wire in there, whatchamacallit. We have Tomei pond cams, rocker arm stoppers, BC heavy duty valve springs, Supertech valve guides and seals, along with their Inconel valves.
Okay, I'm gonna chime in here. I was having issues remembering every little thing about the engine, but it is bolted together with ARP head studs with an Apexi 1.5 mil head gasket. And then the ignition system is managed by 5.0's trigger kit. That allows the timing chart or timing graph to be a lot cleaner when at high RPMs, so you get a more consistent tune under load.
So for the block, I'm running Wiseco pistons, Turbo Tough rods. We have King bearings and OEM thrust washers. On the hot side of things, I have a Garrett G25 550. It's a 72 AR. We're running 25 pounds on E85 and 20 pounds on pump. All the intercooler piping was done by me. The catch can I made. I put baffles in it and mesh in there so it kind of sails to the bottom. The intercooler is tucked nice and high. And I have an oil cooler sitting down there, which is running a Mazworks block adapter along with Mazworks manual chain tensioner. Okay, what else am I forgetting, David? So in some of my videos, I've run into super cold temperatures, and I have comments coming in all the time telling me, you know, this, that, the other, the car should be whatever. Okay, this is why my car runs so cool, and it's not a JZ obviously or an RB, but I can beat the crap out of this car and it doesn't go over 180. Okay, so where we left off is pretty much the cooling system. A lot of people comment on why the car runs so cool, and I'll just briefly go over that. With the cooling system, we have a stance oversized pulley. We have a GK Tech upgraded clutch fan. And when I built the engine, I built it with an OEM oil pump, brand new. Same thing with the water pump. I bought a brand new OEM water pump, installed it in here. And I think all these factors play a role, along with the coil radiator, along with the oil cooler in the front of the car. All these things work together, and when you properly maintain the engine and you have these parts of this magic combo, it's gonna run great for you. That being said, I do realize that I left out the GK Tech throttle blade. I have the Turbo Smart blow-off valve along with a ISIS fuel pressure regulator. That thing has been on there since I bought the car pretty much. I threw it in, and so it's been working great for pretty much 7 years, 8 years going on. I have the car wired up with Wiring Specialties Pro harness. Dan threw that in. He added in some extra sensors. Dan is the homie. If anybody knows him, they know he is a sweetheart. So on the hot side, you can see maybe my oil filter peeking through there. That runs from the MazWorks oil block adapter to the oil cooler. I don't remember which way it's routed, vice versa, whatever, but it ties into my oil filter down there on the frame rail, so I can easily access it from the top. I don't have to bend under the intake manifold. It's right next to the Twist & Motion equal length manifold. It's a replica of the MazWorks turbo manifold. It's just half the price, and it is Cerakoted. I will preach Cerakote for anybody that asks me questions on heat management. Cerakote is freaking awesome. Don't ask me why I haven't done the downpipe yet. All my lines are wrapped in DEI. If they go anywhere near the exhaust manifold, that's what they are wrapped in, whether it's vacuum lines, power steering lines, cooling lines, or even some wiring. Everything down there is wrapped in some sort of heat management system. That's pretty much it for the front end, with the cooling, the engine, the build. The coilovers I have front and rear. My gosh. I can't believe my freaking phone died. The coilovers on the car I've had for quite some time. They are PBM competition coilovers. PBM has pretty much the best customer service by far. I will continue to service my coilovers through them as long as they supply the parts. For the angle kit, I have FDF in the front end. FDF is awesome. I love Josiah and his positive can-do attitude about pretty much anything that revolves around engineering or mechanical things in the drifting world. His FDF kit is tied into a GK Tech adjustable sway bar in the front to clear all that crazy angle. So I have his FDF kit in the front. In the rear, I have a stock rear knuckle with just some cheap adjustable arms and a modified subframe. The subframe has the grip kit from GK Tech. It has the brace plates from GK Tech. Pretty much the entire catalog from GK Tech is on the subframe itself. For brakes, there's nothing crazy. The brakes are Z32. They're steel calipers. I'm pretty sure they're all steel calipers, except for I think the PBM calipers are aluminum. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. For the inside of the car, I have some Bricks reclinable seats that I sourced a few years back. I got them separately and pieced them together. I have a Link/AIM dash, an AEM AFR gauge, a arc panel to control the lights, the ECU, all that good stuff. A custom wheel that Sean painted. The custom chassis harness, Dan Dan made. You can see these are my window switches, so these don't do anything even though I have them, and they're not broken, which is uncommon. They don't work. Chassis harness was wired by Dan. I wish I could tell you more about it, but to be honest, I don't know enough about wiring other than it's wired to a busman box. It's like semi-water resistant or waterproof. All the fuses and relays are behind the passenger seat on the floor. So there's hardly any wiring in this car. This car got fully stripped from the OEM wiring harness, both on the interior and the engine bay. That's why you don't really see much in there. Daniel redid the entire car for me. He is the homie. In the trunk, we're gutted. We have a, I think it's a Walbro 450 pump. So it's E85 safe. The battery is in there. Battery doesn't move most of the time. Sound deadening all throughout. From this angle, we can see a little more of what the interior looks like. You can see the hydro that I forgot to mention, even though it's in my face. It's a PBM reverse unit. It's just hard mounted under there, and you can see my panel is falling off. Like I said, this car's been through the works for so many years. There's a lot of things that I could redo. The hydro makes it so I can't put my radio in there, so my radio's over here. So there's a lot of things that I want to switch up, but like I said at the beginning, this is kind of the reason I wanted to make this video. So as I start switching things up on the car, everyone for the most part will be familiar with what's going on. Side note, this car used to be Pro-Am legal. When I first got it, it was my daily, and I had an itch to be crazy race car bro, so I stripped my perfect SE interior, working windows, everything, and I sold it. I sold everything except the center console and the door cards. And you know what I did with the door cards? I cut them in half, because I put an FD cage, an FD legal cage from Injuku in this car, and I gutted everything. I stitch welded the entire chassis right out of high school pretty much, and after several years of driving it that way and doing a couple competitions and a lot of events, I realized I wanted to drive the car on the street more. The car was just sitting a long time, so I decided to cut the cage out. And so the interior that is in this car is not original to this car. So I went full reverse. I cut the cage out. I got new interior to put in the car. I put new sound deadening throughout the entire car and the roof and in the trunk, as you saw earlier. So that's where this car is at now. That's why I keep saying, like, I've had this car for 7-8 years and it's gone through so many different phases. This might just be another phase where I update it, but this time it's all going to be on video. So all right, that's probably going to be the end of the video. I am running out of daylight. The car is starting to get taken by the shade. Thank you, Sean, to this dope spot. He brought me here earlier. Sorry that my phone died. I can't believe I was not on top of that. I was so worried about getting good audio that I wasn't watching the battery on my phone. Anyways, I hope you learned something from this video. If not, maybe you can teach me something. Leave a comment and let me know what you thought. That's it for today. Appreciate it.